Hey everybody, I'm going to talk to you guys about a tool called Pathfinder. And actually it's more of a properties. And what we're going to need is we're going to need a couple of these shapes. And we're going to go through at least the first four. I'll go through a couple other ones, but these are the four that I use the most, okay? So what we first have to do, we have to select at least a minimum of two shapes. So let's select this one and this shape right here. And you're going to find out on properties on the right-hand side, we did our appearance. We've gone through the colors and the stroke. We've gone through the alignment. Now come down here comes the Pathfinders. And what the cool thing about the Pathfinder is we have several of them. And when you hover over anything in Illustrator, it tells you what it does. This says click to unite. As you look at the small icon, it looks like there's two squares, and that's why I use squares. And we're going to see what happens when we click it. What it looks like it says is it's going to unite it, and it's going to actually click. And notice they've both become one shape. The two overlapping pieces don't show anymore. Let me go back again. As you can see, the square overlaps here and here. That goes away. And the other thing is it's taking the appearance of what is on top. So again, if I go back, the dark red is on top. Say if I bring this one to the top, we'll go say bring the front, and I do the same thing, select the two, notice it takes on the brighter red. So again, whatever's on top, that's what it has. Now, Unite does also work not just with two, but with all of them. And if I select all these, it actually makes this really cool shape. So you could use as many shapes as possible for Unite, and what it does, it kind of makes a contour around all the shapes and creates one large one. Now let's go to the next one. The next one, I'm going to select these two back here. We're going to see it's going to be called subtract or minus. Excuse me, it's minus. And what happens is on the small little icon, you can see that the top layer is going to be subtracted from the bottom layer because the bottom is white. And of course, the top square is like a void. So let's see if that happens when we click it. Notice the orange is on top, yellow's on the bottom. Select it, and that's what happens. It subtracts it. It subtracted where it overlapped. So if this overlaps more, and I select the two, notice it leaves that little small L shape. But the only thing that's different is that it can only do two shapes. It only can subtract two shapes. Because if we do three, let's try three. Oh, it does, but notice it only does these two right here. So I would suggest two shapes the most. If you want to go around with three, by all means you can. But I've been traditionally using two because it makes it easier. Now we have another one. This is called click, and it says intersect. What it means is that whatever the shape intersects will actually show. So if I take these two here, notice this is the only section right here that intersects, and I click it, and it works, and that stays. So let's try if it is all five of these. Notice it says no. It says only two overlapping shapes. So we can only use two for that one. Last but not least, if I select all these again, the last one is going to be exclude. And what that means is whatever overlaps is going to be excluded, because as you can see, the two squares overlapping, there's that little square in the middle. That's what overlaps, so it excludes it. And we click it, that's what happens. Note this though, it took on the color of the actual top layer or the top object. So notice this red is on top. If I did it the opposite way, and we'll go arrange, we'll say bring to front. I select these. Let's see what happens then. It becomes yellow. And notice even the stroke is there too. So that's how we kind of use the Pathfinder. Now there are other ones, and some of the other ones confined are right down here. It's called the more options. As you can see, here's our four that we have here. Then we have the divide. When you click divide, notice there's different shapes. It is one grouped shape because it's what we call a compound shape. I'll talk about that later in some of the videos. But of course, we can ungroup it. So down over here, the quick access says ungroup, or I can right click and say ungroup. And then notice what happens. I can pull out each individual shape with divide. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. Let's go there. Now let's try another one. Let's select all these again. And notice my properties are changing over and over. Come over here. This one's called trim. What's going to happen? It's going to trim. And as you can see, there's no black stroke on it anymore. I'm going to click on it over here, ungroup it, and notice what happens. It trims away what overlaps. Back here, we'll do one more, and then what we have is merge. Now you'll find out that when we click on it and ungroup it, it's kind of the same thing. And those are pretty much all of them I use. There is one more if you want me to do it, and I guess I will do it with this video going on. We have what we call crop. When we click it, it's coming down here. I think it's only 2 pieces. That's what it looks like. And last but not least, we have other things called outline, where we can outline everything, and you can see what's overlapping outline. I don't think I've ever used that one. And last but not least is the minus back. So minus front, minus back, so you're in good shape, okay? There is the Pathfinder. I'm using the Shape Builder tool more and more, and I've already covered that in an earlier video. But these are some other ways you can do things too to help you out, to give you become a more well-rounded graphic artist with different, I guess, techniques to solve all kinds of different problems.